Brian, short practice today before travel. What have you seen from the team today?
Good. You're right, it's short. It's -2 and a travel day, so we try and keep it a little bit lighter. But yeah, it's good. Beautiful day out here.
We did not see Paul out there. I saw him fall, and maybe something happened in his wrist. Any updates on that? Is he all right?
Surprised you haven't figured that out yet. You're close. So he fell and he actually broke a bone in his wrist, in his hand, I should say. The third ring finger, not his actual finger, but in his hand, and he had surgery this morning.
So what kind of recovery is that?
It's a short one.
So is it just they put a cast on it and you can play with the cast?
No, they put a screw in it and then they can play with the cast.
Is this the same? Which hand is it?
I should know that. That's a good.
Right, okay,
I
so
believe
that
it's
is
his right. I know it's the third. This bone in the third. I don't know the medical term, Jada.
Okay,
but he had surgery this morning, so that basically rules him out for this game. But he should be back for the next because it's just pain tolerance.
Okay, and then we didn't see Yamar out here either?
That's just a pro day.
Okay.
You, as far as Steph was able to do a couple things yesterday, that seemed like the first time he's been on the field.
He's still in the protocol. If he does all of the testing that he needs to do when we're away in Atlanta, I believe Tuesday when we get back in, then he'll be able to start small bits of handling the ball, actually doing some goalkeeper work, and then they'll progress him according to the concussion protocol, and again the concussion protocol plus a little bit of extra care.
Yeah, because it's good. Is he, as far as all that goes, was he welcomed to the idea of kind of knowing that he's going to have a bigger break to be able to come back?
Yeah, I think that's helped him in his recovery. Yes.
What did you make of Obed's 30 minutes yesterday?
Good. I mean, the game wasn't too fast. We were all worried that, injuries and stuff like that, but it was good. He got to play next to his, hopefully, former Mexican teammate there a couple times. They were in the same part of the field. It looked like he was having fun.
Were you able to see, a little bit of the youngster that you probably face here when Tijuana comes to face Seattle?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, All-Star game, look, the whole pre-game ceremony was a bit long for my liking. But once the game started, I thought it was a good game and, competitive. I did like some of the stuff the day before. I mean, I loved watching Clint. Clint looked like he had a big smile on his face. I loved that. Happy for him. But yeah, it was good.
I think most people would probably agree that Christian was one of the more notable snubs from that game. What does he do so well, and what has he sort of done? Because there had been some reluctance to move him back a line to where he is now. What do you think he's maybe doing better than you had anticipated?
Well, I don't know, because I known Christian for a long time. We scouted him at the UW. We knew he was a talented player, tactically astute, physically very, very good. So I don't know if he's surprising me with anything. Is it surprising that he's fit in seamlessly in that role? Maybe. Because I was one of the holdouts. I thought he was good out here, and he was for many, many years. But, he's taken on a little bit of different responsibility in that central position. But I think he's still the same player, same energy, same everything. He's just showcasing it maybe in a different way.
Is it still realistic to think that he could get into the 26 conversation?
Well,
World Cup?
Well, there was a little bit of that after the Club World Cup. If he continues to play at this level, we've got Berhalter, there's a direct comparison there. I mean, we can certainly have that conversation.
Is Obed going from where he's at to meet you guys in Atlanta?
Yeah.
And he's good to go?
Yeah, totally fine.
Look at Atlanta. What stands out about on film about how they play and where you might be able to get them?
Well, they went back to a back four, which, he's been searching for the right formula, the right kind of pieces. I don't know if the new center back's going to play. I don't know if he's registered or not. I'll have to look at the up-to-the-date minute stuff that the league sends out as far as registrations are concerned. They let a guy go that had some experience. But it's just getting Almiron to play with Latte Loth and, get some of the guys just in sync. But dangerous team. Can score goals. But defending's been kind of their Achilles heel.
We haven't had too many games against New York City and Atlanta over the years, but for Ronnie, did you have any impressions on him as a head coach? Any times chatting with him at all over the years?
First memory, real memory of him was after they beat Portland in MLS Cup. We played them, and I walked straight over to him and I said, "Thank God you won that game." That was like they had come to us like right after they'd won it, and so that was my most vivid memory of my conversations with him.
You've made some comments as far as what you're going to do with Leagues Cup, with some of the players, like trying to get them rest, things like that. Has your attitude, or has your, I guess, does that mean that your view of the tournament has changed at all? Like in a way you would expect to play the starter kind of players.
Well, Jada, here
balance,
I get where you're going with the question, but let me just make things crystal clear. We have a really deep squad, and yes, there's starters and guys that could be starters, and then there's guys that are more reserve players. I get it, but the fact of the matter is this club has always taken every single competition that we enter on a serious nature. We've done really well in previous editions of the League Cup. We're going to go out there and try and win as many games as we can. It's a different tournament, different format this year, so we'll have to go through some growing pains. But if we're able to advance, we're going to do everything we can to advance. So, yes, I want to give some guys rest, but at the same time, when Danny Leva steps on the field, or Kalani steps on the field, or Georgie steps on the field, the expectations are still the same, that we go out and try and win games.
Does it matter much to you, the different format, the way that
we'll see how this works. Look, there's a whole new set of rules here from previous editions, so we just got to go through some of those growing pains. We'll see what it's like, but I like the direct competition up until I think the quarters or semis. I like it that it's MLS versus League MX, and I think that's what the league people wanted.
Brian, it feels like. At least from our point, it seemed like Pedro had a really good week of training. Have you noticed anything different with his confidence after the big performance?
Sure, but he was training well 2 weeks prior to that performance, and the learning curve there for everybody is, we've tried to, raise the bar, raise the level of intensity of training, so that when you get your opportunity, you will be prepared to make an impact, and that's exactly what Pedro did.
On that same token, presumably some players are going to get longer runouts than they've had recently with the fixture congestion coming up.
Yeah.
How big of an opportunity, and how do you sort of judge how do you, weigh that in how you might, because I know you've been searching for a obvious best 11 going into the playoffs.
Well, yes, coming out of this Leagues Cup, we'll have 10 games remaining, and we got to start narrowing that down. I know where you're going with that question. How much weight do I put on some of these games? Equal. I mean, they're going to be against really top-level teams. The 3 League MX teams that we're playing are very good. A lot of history behind it. Obviously, Cruz Azul has its current history. Maybe a little bad taste in our mouths. Maybe a little bit of, revenge. But look, they're top team. So how we gauge the players' individual performances, how do we gauge the overall team performances, and how far we get into the tournament, those will all factor into, the last 10 games of the year.
When you look at what you've been able to do offensively, it seems like your principles in terms of starting off on the front foot and effective press have really helped out that offense. How have you seen that kind of get better over the last 3 or 4 games for this team?
It's execution. It's all the players. The players are executing. It's we've been having these principles in place for a long time, and teams go through ups and downs and ebbs and flows, momentum, and they're just playing at a high level now. I think the Club World Cup has something to do with that. I think they themselves, we had some, challenging parts of the beginning of the season, and this group has always been resilient.